Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there is Adam Glyn. Today we got a great episode for you guys. We're going to jump into the Hollywood Raw rundown where we've got some great stories. We're going to do a little deep dive into Seann William Scott's finances. Everything has come to light. There's some more drama in the Denise Richards divorce saga. Then Jay Cutler is calling Kristin Cavallari a big fat liar. We're also going to talk about Brooke Hogan, saying there's some explosive Bodycam footage that is surrounding her father's death. There's a Bieber impersonator who duped a massive club in Vegas, and something about Aubrey Plaza as well, opening up about her husband's death. So lots of great stories coming up. Definitely stick around. Adam, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to watch, I don't know, I'm watching this, Eric Bain, I don't even know, Jungle Show. He's like in the Everest Park. I'm watching that show right now.
Wait, did you finish Hunting Wives, the whole thing?
Oh, did you watch it yet?
We started. We're on episode 2.
Wait, so what do you think so far?
It's pretty good. So here's the thing.
Finally, we're into a show together.
It's good, and then there's funny because there's moments that I feel like I'm watching like a soap opera. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's moments where it doesn't almost seem like a scripted show, like it seems like a soapy show, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Everything was going so well, and then you got this like really cheesy random moment in here, but then it like goes back, and I'm totally enjoying it. And I think Brittany Snow is doing a fantastic job. Malin Ackerman,
wait till you see. They're gonna even do a better job.
Yeah,
sooner. Yeah.
Okay,
it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I've so far been very entertained by the show. My wife's into it with me, so it's been good. It's been good TV time at night.
You're gonna really enjoy it, and if you have watched it, let me know what you think about it in our private Facebook group, Off the Record. I've told so many people about the show. I'm like, it may come across a little bit like a soap opera, Desperate Housewives in the beginning, and you're not, as for a male at least, that you might kind of be checked out. However, it actually works more in favor for the males, and you'll understand why, I guess. You'll see.
Well, I feel like it's already been pretty damn good so far. I have no complaints really at this moment.
So I really enjoyed that. And then I've been seeing a lot of trailers for this, who's been doing some press lately. It's Austin Butler. He's got this like, it's not Catch Me If You Can. I don't know the name of the new movie he's got coming out. It's a Darren Aronofsky movie or whatever. Anyway, Austin Butler.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I've seen previews for that. I saw it.
I like Austin Butler, but also he's just so like interesting to watch because he talks like a mix of Elvis with Bruce Springsteen. I know he got a lot of crap over his Elvis impression, that he kind of kept the Elvis voice going on after the Elvis job. Yeah. And now he's just become very like, I got to wear boots all the time. Oh, yeah, you're one of those cats,
One of those cats. Really
but he's like, in these interviews, he's so interesting to watch. And I saw a video of him. Actually, I'll give him credit for this. I actually really enjoyed this side of him because he does seem like he is sort of fun in some way. And he kind of has his feet on the ground where he doesn't take himself too seriously. Because I did see a video of him at the Bad Bunny concert, and he was like just chilling on the side, kind of grooving to Bad Bunny. And then he was on Jimmy Fallon talking about it. He goes, yeah, I got an edible in me, and it got me really high. I was like, oh man, this is not what I expected. And then he just started moving his hips. Like that's all he could do is move his hips. And I was like, okay. Yeah. It was a funny story. His delivery and everything was great during it. So I'm starting to like Austin Butler a lot more. And I do want to see the movie now because he's sort of interesting to watch. And I don't know why, but he seems like a pretty cool guy. But again, he's one of those guys where I only wear boots and jeans during the summer. Like it's like, all right.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. That's funny.
It's kind of unique. All right. Today is our Raw Rundown where we go over the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories? It goes by Google search. It goes by data. And lastly, it goes by our personal opinions. But it ultimately comes down to what you guys are clicking on. Just like any single major news outlet, they are looking at screens and are saying, hey, what are people clicking on? What stories do we need to put more energy on? And that's how we determine our top 10 stories of the week. We call news outlets around that we have contacts to tier 1 news outlets and say, hey, what stories are doing well for you guys? And they say, well, this story, that story, this story is doing well. And we kind of look up the data, and that goes to the top 10 stories of the week, what you guys are clicking on. Before we get to the Raw Rundown, when you guys give us reviews, we shot you out on air. It's the best way to do to support this podcast. When you give us a review, it helps us out in the algorithm, and we appreciate that so much. We'd like to say hi to you on air. Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
Of course I've got a review. This one comes from N. Henbury. It says, "You guys rock." It's a 5-star review. It says, "Love your podcast. I haven't missed a single episode. You guys keep me endlessly entertained while working in my clay studio every day. Your passion for celebrity news and insider details keeps me coming back every week. Thanks for all your hard work and endless entertainment. 10 out of 10. I love it." Thank you, M. Henbury. Really appreciate those comments, the reviews. You guys, we say it all the time. They mean the world to us. So if you have loved the podcast and you want us to read your feedback, head on over to Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the bottom of our show page, and leave a review. And we'll get to it. We'll read it here live on air, give you a little shout out, and say thank you.
Yeah, it really helps us out so much. You've left a review, grab your partner's phone and give us a review again. We'll shout you out again. We have no problem doing that. Just give us 5 stars, say a few kind words. All right, Dax, let's get to the Raw rundown, starting with number 10.
Have you ever cared about hearing how much Seann William Scott makes? Has that ever been on your bucket list of information?
No, but I have reached out to him to come on the podcast to no response. But I was actually curious about I've heard weird stories about him. Mm-hmm. Some stories I can't say on air for legal reasons. But I've seen him once in New York City walking. He was super nice. So I've heard unique stories on him. But I am curious what people... again, I know from American Pie, really. I know he's done other projects, but how do those people do financially years later, 20 years?
Adam, I am shocked at how much Seann William Scott makes per month still all these years later. I'm also pretty shocked about how much his net worth is in general. So his monthly income has been revealed among this pretty messy divorce battle with his ex-wife, Olivia. And, a lot of times when it's going through a divorce, they have to kind of air out all of the financial details so that everything can kind of be split up. Well, in this latest court filing that happened on Monday, he makes about $110,000 a month, according to Us Weekly, because they got their hands on those documentations. And he said, this has been this back and forth with custody and child support battle. But the thing is, he said he's an actor on paperwork, is what he claimed. He said he earns about $45,000 in royalty payments a month and $31,000 in dividends and interest payments, adding up to that he has about and then he has $158,000 in cash and checkings and a savings account. But here's where it gets wild. He says he's got $12 million in stocks and bonds, as well as $18.7 million in property, including 3 homes in Los Angeles. He's got a couple cars, a Honda Passport worth $55,000, a Mini Cooper worth $30,000. His jewelry, $650, and furniture, $171,000. Pretty shocked. He also has an art collection valued about $93,000. I was just really surprised to hear he's got 12 million locked up in stocks and 18 million in real estate. I did not picture him to be worth that much money.
Well, it sounds like he did some pretty decent investments, to have all that money not in cash. But yeah, who knew that there was that type of money there? I mean, you got to think of, he did American Pie, which turned to American Pie 2, 3, American Wedding. I'm sure they started getting paid more and more for those films that did so well. I don't know. I mean,
$45,000 in residuals per month is pretty substantial. I mean, I would assume that the year 1, year 2, year 3 after the movies come out, but not all these years later. I didn't think it was one of those cash cows like the Friends. The Friends show, obviously that one, they still make wild money to this day, but I feel like I'm flipping around the TV and I still see Friends episodes on and all of that kind of stuff. So that one makes money. I don't feel like every time I turn on the TV, there's an American Pie movie going on.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now, and American Pie I think is one of the most underrated comedies out there. I mean, yes, did it make 4 other movies besides it? Yes, but I don't think people talk about what a significant movie that was. I mean, that was the new age Porky's. And it's funny, I just watched American Pie 2 weeks ago because it's on Netflix again. And the music that goes in American Pie is so perfect. To me, it's a perfect new age Porky's, Animal
Like,
House movie. Back
if
to
if you would have told me, because remember we had Jodie Sweetin on, and we asked her about Residuals and how much she makes, and I think she admitted when she was on her podcast, it was something like $100,000 a year on Residuals from Full House, and that wasn't Fuller House, that was just Full House at the time, and I would have thought that she would be making more money than him at this point.
You know what? You weren't here this episode. We had Jamie Kennedy on. Jamie Kennedy's
Mm-hmm.
done a lot of projects. And I asked him, I think, if I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I asked him how much he made from Residuals every year from all his projects. And Jamie Kennedy's worked a lot. He said every year he makes just over $100,000 just on Residuals.
But how's Sean William Scott making 45 a month?
I don't know, but I mean, we found out that he is making some pretty decent money. So congrats to Sean doing so well. Hopefully he comes on the podcast. I did ask him to come on the podcast, and well, I didn't ask him personally. I went to his team. No response, but he's too busy making money. So good for him. All right, Dax, number 9.
All right, Denise Richards, more drama going on in this divorce saga. We have talked about it, I feel like, endlessly for the last few weeks. The big question was whether or not that dog was actually put down, remember? Well, here's the deal. She is now filing to have her estranged husband, Aaron Pfeiffer's, and his family kicked out of the house. She wants him evicted for failing to pay rent. If you remember, they have a really funky living situation where Denise Richards and her husband were essentially the ones that had rented the home, but then her estranged husband's brother and family moved into the house, and she moved out of the house. And she is saying, look, I've got all this stuff in the home. I've got my dogs. I've got jewelry. I've got all these things. I can't go back to the house because there's a restraining order between the two of them. So she can't actually be there. And she goes, and he's not paying rent. I'm getting hit up by the landlord. The landlord wants to be paid. I'm paying it thinking that like I'm going to eventually get back into the house, and it's not happening. So she wants him evicted out of it so she can get back into the home. She can see her dogs. And Aaron has basically also said, I guess one of the dogs did get put down because it had cancer, but he was saying like she didn't see these dogs in 2 years. So why suddenly does she care about him now? Only when we're going through this whole thing does she suddenly care about it. I don't know whether or not a judge is going to kick him out. I guess if he's not paying rent, he's going to turn into a squatter. And in California, they got some weird squatter rules where they'll let you stay in the house. So I don't know if she's going to get back into this house anytime soon.
This divorce, I think we said, like, this is not the end. They're going to keep figuring out a way to kind of drag each other through the mud to kind of, and I don't know what you're trying to figure out at this point. Like, why can't we just like be adults?
Because they hate each other, Adam. They hate each other. And a spiteful people going through a divorce, they want to make each other's life hell. So to continue just pissing the other person off is like their main goal at this point, I think.
It's probably so. And I wonder, like, I guess he's got nothing to lose. He's not a celebrity. He's the celebrity. So
what he has to lose is some kind of spousal support at this point.
I guess so. But also, this guy's going to have to get a real job eventually. And how does that affect his SEO when people Google him like, whoa, you look like a dick. So, yeah, I don't know. At what point do you guys just say, hey, we're punching each other enough. Let's end the fight. Eventually fights have to end. Cops usually let people fight for like 10 seconds because then they're just like, all right, we did it. And like, let's go. But this one, I don't think this is the end of it. This is not the last straw in this fight. I'm also done with it.
They've tried to swap property and the movers got turned away. I mean, it's just one thing after another. I'm here for the drama, but it does get kind of tiring talking about the same story every week.
I'm bored of it. Number 8.
Kelly Clarkson returning to The Voice after, a brief absence, but she is now on track to come back for the next season. They're actually filming like 2 seasons simultaneously right now. They've got the one premiering this fall, which is season 28. That'll have Michael Bublé, Reba McEntire, Niall Horan, and Snoop Dogg as coaches. And then season 29 is the one that Kelly Clarkson, they were not sure whether or not she was coming back. On the death of her ex-husband. That has kind of taken up a lot of her bandwidth kind of being there for her child. And she said, nope, I have signed on. I will be there. And she's pulling through. She's also apparently going to be moving forward with her own talk show, the Kelly Clarkson show. That'll be back for, I want to say it's its 7th season of the daytime talk show. And so everything is on track to start production early September as scheduled. And it shows that tickets are available to be in the studio audience on the site. So it looks like all is good, obviously taking a brief absence, but now going to be right back in the swing of things.
I'm surprised. I mean, I wonder how in advance this deal is already done, because obviously she is going through her ex-husband just passed away. I don't know how long she knew that the ex-husband was in a relationship with her ex-assistant. I did know that
she had to known.
I guess she had to have known, but she hasn't really done any interviews about it. I am surprised. I guess I could see the talk show going another season. It didn't seem like, from my end, from what I heard through sources, that NBC was too happy with the show. And it's a lot of work to do a talk show, number one. Number two, I was told that the talk show was very expensive to make. They're getting big guests, don't be wrong. They made a successful show, but the cost of making that show just was getting very expensive. So, yeah, I am surprised to hear that the show is going another season. My prediction that this could be the last season, though. I don't know how much NBC could be kind of throwing money at people like this for.
I think a lot of these daytime shows, and I think they're all going to start going away, unfortunately, just because it's not how people consume entertainment anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of these big artists, they don't need to go on a talk show to get press. They can go on a YouTube show and get 10 times more press. It is what it is.
We mentioned Austin Butler. The reason I saw him, yes, he did Fallon, but besides Fallon, he was doing all these like social media people, doing interviews with them that are cheaper, easier, and quicker to make, that actually show you the numbers and really get more reach than any of these talk shows that you do. So, I think my prediction, this is the last season of the Kelly Clarkson show. Dax, number 7.
Jillian Michaels, she's now breaking her silence over the whole Netflix Biggest Loser docuseries. They made some claims in here that she was not too happy about, because it didn't really make her look good as that fitness guru. So she did a series of Instagram posts and basically refutes claims by her former co-host Bob Harper and Dr. Robert Huizinga, I don't know how to say his last name. Basically the doctors that worked with the contestants in the series, they made a bunch of allegations against her, in which premiered on August 15th. This was, they said, in the alleged season 15 of that weight loss show, that she was caught giving her team caffeine supplements, and that the caffeine pills violated the rules for the show. And so she went on social media and she denies that she was covertly giving caffeine pills to contestants to maximize workouts, and presents an email chain that basically proves that the doctor did approve the caffeine pills on many of the seasons of The Biggest Loser, and also alleges that Bob Harper not only knew about the caffeine pills, but and called them, I guess, stacker fat burners, were actually his suggestion, and wanted to use my brand instead because they were cleaner and no more than 200 milligrams of caffeine. In my opinion, I'm reading all this and I'm like, wait, so people were using things to get like enhancements to lose more weight? Like, it almost feels like a no-brainer. I obviously haven't watched the docuseries, so I don't know how bad it is. Maybe that's got really bad health effects on people, but I'm thinking all these people are going on to lose weight. Like, isn't that the whole point? People do crazy shit all the time to lose weight. And that I doubt this is like, if they had Ozempic back in the day, they would have been stabbing people left and right with Ozempic needles to get them to lose that much weight that quickly. Like, doesn't seem that scandalous at this point in my life.
Yeah, at that time, though, I think you're right. I guess it comes to a safety thing. Did they look at the people? Did they do the right precautions? Did they check their health history? Did they do some tests to see if those people could take caffeine pills or whatever? Or did they even, I saw pieces of the documentary, did they overstrain these people? Did they give them too much? I mean, one of the guys from Biggest Loser put the weight right back on. So was it really a success story? I don't know. And I don't think they really. I think that's really what the documentary shows, is that they didn't really put these people in the right.
Oh my goodness,
place.
a reality show didn't do what it was supposed to do 100%? No way.
Well, a show like that couldn't exist today. But again, this was what, 15, 20 years ago? At that time, it was a different time. So it was a TV show. And now, like, Fear Factor's coming back. Fear Factor's not going to be as intense as it once was. I'm sure all the tests were, all the stunts were pre-done before, tested, safety and everything. So this, I think they looked over safety a little bit more. And I think that's really what the documentary shows. But it's weird that Bob and Jillian are started going after each other. And I think that's the unique thing. But Jillian's also defending herself here too. She's kind of put out a lot of comments saying that she plans to sue. She's looking into that.
I guess I just look at it, I'm like, this is reality show, guys. Like, this is silly.
Yeah, I guess you think it's silly. But I tried watching the documentary, but to be honest with you, I just didn't care enough. I was like, all right.
Because it's silly.
It's silly. Dax, number 6?
Yep, number 6, Jay Cutler accusing Kristin Cavallari, his ex, of basically borderline slander over claims that she got zero money in this divorce. So here's the thing. He went on his podcast, Take It Outside, and talked about it because she recently said that she got nothing. She got nothing in their divorce, that her Uncommon James brand brings in like $50 million a year or something like that, and that she walked away from that divorce with nothing from him. And he basically sat down and said, all right, let's think about this logically. Not a penny. He goes, married for 7 years, 3 kids, and you saw how much I made in the NFL. It's all online. All of his contracts have always been public. And he said, she has a lawyer, I had a lawyer, and then you go to court and there's a judge. He said, in the state of Tennessee, it would be impossible for all 3 of those paid people involved to have said, yes, you're right, you get no money in a divorce and you get to walk away. It doesn't happen. That doesn't make any sense. Absolutely not. So he basically says what she is saying is so not true that it is borderline slander. Listen, I don't know. If she was making crazy money off Uncommon James, that he had his NFL money and she had her Uncommon James money, there is a chance that a judge says, okay, well, no reason for you guys to split up the money. Like, you've got your assets and he's got his, and let's move along with life. So I don't really know who's in the right here. I feel like Kristin Cavallari is a pretty open book. She doesn't seem to need to sugarcoat stuff and just says it as it is. Maybe she feels like she didn't get anything out of the divorce, when in fact there is something. It maybe just wasn't a lot, and he is standing on she got something even if it wasn't a lot. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's 2 sides to every story. He hasn't spoken about we really haven't heard his side, maybe because his microphone is not as big as Kristin. And sure, after every single podcast Kristin does, she sends out a press release to every single news outlet, say, hey, did you hear what Kristin said on this week's podcast? And Jay doesn't do that. We just haven't heard his side. I kind of also have to agree a little bit with Jay. I mean, the guy did have a pretty good career in the NFL. To say that he didn't get anything, I don't know. It's a weird. I don't know how I stand. It seems very
unlikely. I just wonder if it's almost like, again, she feels like she didn't get much because it was such a low dollar amount, but he's leaning on that low dollar amount, saying, "Okay, well, you got something." I don't know.
Yeah, his microphone. He finally sent out a press release, and people are covering his podcast. So good for Jay to kind of speak up. What the truth is, it's his side. There's her side, and there's the truth. So that's where I stand. Dax, number 5.
Oh, God. Thank God Julia Fox is clearing up her sexuality after coming out as a lesbian. This is the news we all didn't need at all, but nevertheless, she is putting it out there. If you remember, she had basically said that she seemingly came out as a lesbian, but now she is later clarifying it, that she is up for a relationship with a woman, and then she gives an update on what she kind of considers her sexuality. She said she's pansexual and that she could be attracted to anyone and anything. She told this to Allure. And they basically said that if she were to sit down, if she was to just sit down and be physical, she said she's more attracted to the female body. Men don't do it for her physically, but she can be attracted to a man's mind, and that she's more of a quote unquote vibes person. I literally could care less.
It's crazy that it's wild that this actually made news, but I guess anything regarding what you're into in sexuality always makes news. But I still don't even understand it. I remember when Wayne Brady talked about his sexuality, it was like, I understand that this makes news, but I still don't. It's news, but no news. There's nothing there to be said.
Well, I am also like, this is Julia Fox, who dated Kanye West for a hot 5 seconds and was in a movie. And I am so impressed that she has stayed relevant, or quote unquote relevant, for the last 3 years. Like, who cares? Granted, I'd still love to have her on the podcast, but who cares?
She was supposed to come on the podcast. I won't talk smack about her because she does look at my she does watch my TikTok and comments on my TikTok videos. So I'm like, and she follows me on TikTok. So I'm like, you know what? She gets a pass in my book. She's cool to me. So I like that, because sometimes there's a thing on TikTok, Dax, where if it's like, you know who follows me on TikTok? Who? I have I have close to 100,000 followers on TikTok. So it's hard for me to figure out who follows me, but I'm pretty sure Addison Rae follows me. And then I try to go to her TikTok and see who she's following, and they block it so you can't see who they're following. So I'm like, so I got to go.
Why do you think she's following you?
I want to see who I caught on the streets and paparazzi stuff.
But does she like your stuff?
No, but it still comes.
So why do you think she's following you?
She likes me more than a friend.
You're such an idiot. So stupid.
I don't know. Dax, number 4.
Number 4, Brooke Hogan. She is insinuating that there is much more to her father's death than what they are letting out right now. She said that there is a video that will change the world's opinion on Hulk's death. So this is pretty interesting, but she hasn't sat back and been quiet. I've actually been surprised with how much Brooke is talking to different outlets. She's gone on TMZ, and she is now claiming that that since the media continues to twist the narrative, she said that she has been getting legitimate calls from authorities who are in the know about her dad's death, and that she needs to ask questions about the body cam footage and the 911 tape. So she claims that all these people are reaching out to her saying, don't just assume his death was all good and normal. You need to reach out. You need to look into this more. I don't know how much right she has, because it seems like, Hulk's widow, Sky Daly, has been kind of not talking to her. And Sky is the one who would really, I think, have the keys to the castle and be able to get the information should she want it out there. But Brooke said that basically when these tapes come to light, they could potentially shed enough light to change the narrative I, and everyone has been hearing. So I don't know, pretty interesting. But she also kind of wasn't quite sure about the whole leukemia story. She's like, I feel like that would have come out sooner had he had leukemia. So it sounds like news to her, and that she wants some more information. And she doesn't even know if he's been cremated or not. I know that they had said they were going to do an autopsy, but it seems like nor Nick can really get out much information from the medical examiner at this point.
I'm curious what her relationship is right now, currently, with her brother. And I also would like to see her and Sky talk. I mean, I know it's a very sensitive time. It's a sensitive subject. People are upset. There's a lot of different opinions going on. But I do think that Brooke and Sky do need to talk. And I think for Sky, I understand it's your husband.
I think there's a lot of hurt.
His daughter.
There's a lot of hurt and pain there, and I think that Sky is one of the reasons that Brooke was not in Hulk's life, unfortunately. I think that she didn't like that her dad chose this young woman, and maybe felt like Sky wasn't in it for the best interest and all of that stuff. And so I think she's not going to want to sit down and chat with her, I don't think.
Well, hopefully
but who knows? Maybe it would be good for them to chat.
It would be. I know. I think they all really need to figure out things together. And I think Sky from what it sounds like, should do what's right for the daughter, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just sad. You just want them to kind of be able to kind of grieve in peace and comfort. All right, Dax, number 4.
All right, number 3, Tom Sandoval got slammed by Simon Cowell on AGT, basically saying his performance did not sound good at all. I don't know if you guys watched it, but he's one of the latest contestants on America's Got Talent. Him and his band, The Most Extras, they performed Blinding Lights by the Weeknd. They did a cover of it on Tuesday night's episode, and Simon not impressed at all. He basically said, it didn't sound great. It did not. It might just be me, but from where I sat, that did not sound good. I'm afraid it didn't. Got to agree. I watched the clip. I did not watch the whole show, but I did watch the clip of him singing, and it was brutal. brutal. And I know Tom's actually got a pretty decent voice. This was not a good representation of his voice on AGT. I will say, if you want to hear a good cover of Blinding Lights, go listen to Ex Ambassadors. That is a good cover of Blinding Lights. It is one of their most amazing songs. They did a good job. Anyway, back to Tom. Him and his band got kicked off on Wednesday's episode, so you won't be seeing him go any further. Adam, what do you think? Is this good for ratings? Are people into Tom Sandoval? Why did they even allow him on the show?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is America's Got Talent. You think Tom Sandoval's cover band is one of the best talents in the world at this moment? No,
it's
makes
supposed
good
to
TV.
be fun,
and I think Tom makes actually good TV. People know who he is. People who've never seen his show or seen him perform want to see him perform live. I understand why NBC and America's Got Talent would put him on the show. I understand why they would stretch him on the show for as long as possible while still making the show believable. I understand why Simon would go after someone like this guy because it's
easy. He's
comical.
An easy target right now too.
He's an easy, and I've seen Tom Sandoval perform. It's a fun band. Listen, are they the Beatles? No, but if you want a cover band, like they get into it, it's a good show. He doesn't sound too bad. He makes it a good experience for the fans. So it is what it is, but he's definitely not America's Got Talent, but he sure enough makes a good show. Maybe brings in an extra, 50 followers or 50 viewers to the show. So that's good. Dax, number 3.
Oh man, one of the big clubs in Vegas, XS, got totally duped by a fake Justin Bieber who showed up to the nightclub. It happened at the Wen in Vegas earlier this week. This guy shows up who looks very similar to Bieber until he takes the shirt off, but very much looks like Bieber. Showed up in a hoodie with bodyguards, talked to the staff of XS. They were able to let him in. He then got ushered to the DJ booth. He told the DJ, hey, I'd like to perform. And the DJ was like, okay. By the way, it was DJ Geffen, and told the DJ, I want to get out there and I want to perform. I want to do this as a surprise impromptu for all the fans. And the guy was like, okay, sounds good. They performed Sorry. And I mean, you couldn't really hear him singing because the whole crowd is singing, but you see everyone's excited. Everyone's got their phones out. And then they basically find out that this is not really Bieber. He racked up a $10,000 bill, which he did pay, by the way, after he got kicked out of the club. He did pay, but he got kicked out of the club and was sent on his way. The DJ did a whole video on his social media, which is pretty funny, where he's just like shows how he got duped and the moment of the realization that it wasn't Bieber and that he just was like, oh man, I just thought Bieber kind of had like gained a lot of weight since his album came out. But the guy looks very similar. He has all the tattoos that Bieber has. Like, he literally has spent a long time obviously trying to look like Justin.
Yeah, the guy, it was a funny video. I felt bad for the DJ because he's just trying to it made him look like a weirdo and idiot, but he actually, I feel like, handled it very well.
Correct.
The guy looked like a good Justin Bieber. I think it's more bad on the management of the club than anything because he doesn't know what's going on. The DJ, he's working, he shows up, and the guy looks like Bieber. I think it's funny.
I feel like I covered this guy. His name is Dylan Declos, I think is how you say his name. He's 29 years old. He's been looking like Bieber for a long time, but I feel like I've covered this guy before because he used to go walk around LA and like, do you remember when Bieber was living in what was it called? Was it the Montage in LA? He was there for a long time, and this guy would walk up and down the streets like Bedford and Rodeo just because everyone knew Bieber was living in that area, just to get all the fans excited. And then that you would get close to him, and once you're like really up close and in person, you're like, oh, that's not Bieber. He looks like him, but then it's not him.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude. I felt early on at TMZ, there was this guy who used to walk around New York City that looked exactly like Snoop Dogg. And he's walking around with like one other like guy, and I ran up to him and tried to talk to him. I think I even took a photo with him. And the guy, but he never spoke because he knew if he spoke that you'd know that it's not Snoop. But the guy knew what he was doing, and people go crazy for him. And then you realize after, like, there's no way Snoop's just walking around the streets like that. So I've felt for something like that. So yeah, good on the guy. Fun
to
video.
go
Fun video
all out.
weekend.
Think about to go all out and get all the same tattoos as Bieber, like everything. That is some weird dedication, creepy ass dedication.
Yeah, listen, if you can make the money back by making fun videos and duping people, it was a good investment for me. Number two.
Oh no, that was number two. We're on number one.
Oh, number one. Good.
Number one, Aubrey Plaza opening up about her husband's death and also opening up about grief in general. So this is the first time we've heard from her since the death of her husband, and she went on Amy Poehler's podcast. Obviously, they were co-stars.
What's the name of the podcast?
Does it say? What is the name of the podcast? I forget what the name of the podcast is. Sorry. I just know that they were on Parks and Recs together, and then she basically talked to Amy and said, I think I'm like, okay, but it's a daily struggle. And remember, her husband took his own life. That is what the medical examiner confirmed his death to be. But she said, that she felt happy to be recording a podcast together and that she was grateful to be alive. She said, right in this is a very present moment. I feel happy to be with you, Plaza said. I feel overall I'm here, I'm functioning, and I feel like, like I really am grateful to be moving through the world. And then she kind of compared grief and loss to the Gorge. Did you ever see that movie that came out with Miles Teller and Anna Taylor-Joy? She compared grief to that, and she said, in the movie, there's a cliff on one side and there's a cliff on the other side, and then there's this gorge in between, and it's filled with all these monster people, and they're trying to get them. And she goes, I swear, when I watched it, I was like, this feels like what grief is, or what grief could be like, where at all times there's a giant ocean of just awfulness that right there you can see it, and like sometimes you just want to dive into it and just be in it, and then sometimes you look at it and you're like, I just try to get away from it. But it's always there, and always the monster people are trying to get me. So that was how she explained grief and what she has been going through for the last little bit. But sad times for her.
Definitely a sad time, and you just want her to be in a good place. I mean, that's a terrible situation, terrible thing that happened for her husband to take his own life. The thing is, it says suicide, but I don't know exactly. I just tried Googling it, how he actually did it, because and it's so, I mean, I don't know how he did it. I don't know. The podcast is called Good Hang with Amy Poehler.
Cool.
Good Hang
with Adam
Amy
coming
Poehler.
in with all the details today that I left out.
No, but now all of a sudden when I looked it up, Dax, this is terrible. I'm not making a joke about this, but I just saw a meme because I was trying to. The podcast that Aubrey Plaza talked about the suicide of her husband was on the Good Hang podcast.
Oh, geez.
Good Hang podcast. Yeah. You put it together. Like, that was a meme. Like, oh, you talked about that. So I was like, ugh, weird. But I'm surprised no one really thought about that as a PR thing. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Man, just when we thought we were going to be done with the rundown, all this news has now broken, so I'm going to fill you in. Adam's already jumped off. So we got a couple big stories. I've got an update to the Hulk story we talked about earlier with Brooke Hogan. Seems like there might be a lot more to this story, and Hulk Hogan may have actually been a victim of medical malpractice. So it seems like law enforcement sources are telling TMZ Sports that the Clearwater PD have now a report regarding the 911 response to Hulk's home when the day he died. And I guess there was an occupational therapist who was present at his home when he stopped breathing. But here is where it gets really interesting. The therapist told responding officers that Hulk was a victim of medical malpractice. The therapist said during a recent operation, it's unclear if the surgery was to repair his heart or his neck, but the surgeon severed his phrenic nerve, is I believe how you say it, which stimulates the diaphragm and controls the breathing. And so that being said, Hulk apparently never clenched his chest during the episode before he passed. Rather, he merely just stopped breathing. That's when his wife, Sky, who sounded the alarm, noticed that his breath had stopped, and that's why she called 911. And so there's obviously conversations among the officers and the people that were at the scene talking about what the therapist had told them, and this would all be on body cam footage. This would back up the claim that Brooke was talking about, that there is more to this story, that people need to look into this. She's been getting a lot of calls from law enforcement sources saying, do not give up. This is not a normal death. You need to look into this. Well, it seems like more information is coming to light. I can tell you that Hulk Hogan's widow, Sky, did talk to TMZ and basically said, yes, the nerve was compromised during one of his recent surgeries, so that has been confirmed, and that she did add that the autopsy has been done on Hulk's body, but declined to reveal what those results were to them. And that he has not been cremated at this point. So this now has taken a very dramatic turn in Hulk Hogan's death. And I think as this news breaks, obviously Brooke Hogan is probably very relieved to hear that there is validity behind all these rumors that she is hearing. On another note, Lil Nas X, this news broke after we finished the Raw rundown, but Lil Nas X spotted out walking through the streets of Hollywood in his underwear and was hospitalized for a possible OD. So very bizarre behavior from him. Like I said, walking around the streets of LA, he's in tighty whities, he's in these white cowboy boots, and he's just literally strolling around. A couple of people noticed him as they were driving down the street at 4 a.m. They pulled over, started videotaping him. He actually talks back to them, and he's kind of all over the place talking about getting to the party, and he'll see them there, and then he kind of points at the camera and mutters some stuff. But they followed him around, and it was, I guess, scary enough that they called 911, and it was not one call, it was numerous calls that 911 got about Lil Nas wandering through the streets. People had said they saw like a nude man walking around. Well, the officers responded, found him walking down the middle of the road, and basically Nas charged at the officers apparently. They subdued him, put him in handcuffs, and apparently officers told paramedics it was a possible overdose, and Nas was transported to the hospital. So, listen, he could still face charges, but at the moment of this taping, he was getting treated at the hospital. I know there's been many people who reached out to his reps. No word back so far. There is some interesting chatter online around this Lil Nas X debacle. I would say some people are starting to question whether or not this was a publicity stunt, and I feel like I've worked in this industry for a very long time. I don't put anything past anyone at this point. I have seen some very elaborate publicity stunts put out there by big artists to gain traction for new songs or tours. This one seems a little out there. However, who knows? I think the thing that stood out to me was this is a huge artist who is walking down the street basically nude. Where's his friends? Where are the people that he surrounds himself with? That was the part that I thought was the strangest. If this was anyone else, I feel like, and they're a big star, they wouldn't get out to the middle of the street. Friends would pull them in, pull them back into their house, and say, no, I'm sorry, I know you're going through an episode right now, but we can't let you be outside. There's no one around. That, to me, is the weirdest part of this whole thing, which then leads me to think, is this a publicity stunt? Was it planned? Because Then you put him out on the street, you have him walk around, you film him, and it causes a commotion. Now everyone's talking about it. No one's talked about Lil Nas X for a while. He was the biggest thing on the planet for quite some time, and then he kind of disappeared. So, if you want me to put my little tinfoil hat on, there's a chance that this is a massive publicity stunt. I would hope that he wouldn't use mental health as a ruse to get publicity, but then again, you just never know in this day and age. I've seen it all with some of these big stars, and if it truly is a mental episode, then I hope he's getting the help he needs, and if it's drug related, then I hope he doesn't take whatever he did, because he's going to look back and be, I would say, pretty embarrassed this whole thing went down. But nevertheless, we'll see where this ends up. But yeah, so there's that. All right, and lastly, Millie Bobby Brown is now a mother. This is a huge story that just broke. Millie had basically posted up on social media announcing this, saying that this summer we welcomed a sweet baby girl through adoption. We are beyond excited to embark on this beautiful next chapter of parenthood in both peace and privacy. And then there were three. Love, Millie and Jake Bongiovi. Yeah, and there's actually already photos of them out strolling through. I believe it's the Hamptons. It's the two of them and the stroller. But this is huge news that Millie is now a parent. So excited for them. There's no word on the baby's name. We just know a baby girl, but no word on the name or where they did this adoption. But excited for them. Huge news, and I wish them a lot of luck and get some sleep. All right, that is all the updates I got for you guys. Enjoy your Friday.
All right, well, that is the Raw Rundown, the top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record. Tell us what you think about Hunter Wives. And gossip with us, because we'll gossip with you. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.